Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm your host, Corey, joined by my co-host, Corey.
Good day, everybody.
Episode 17, Corey, we're going to be doing a little preview of the weekend's games. Week 7, pretty busy weekend.
It is. I think it's going to be one of those weekends where all 3 nights we're going to be somewhere. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be fun. Not necessarily sure yet where I'm going to be Friday, but
I'm almost decided. I believe I'll be in Bucktouche.
I really want to be in Bucktouche, but I really love being in Miramichi too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll get it started. Yesterday, the Hawks made some announcements that they had some new players.
They do.
Pretty much guys that are just going to be there to stand up for other people and fight.
Yeah, it's not a horrible idea, really, with the penalties, or not the penalties, but the new rules on fighting. You kind of have no choice but to have that.
So do you want to get into who these guys are first, or do you want to get into the rules and stuff?
Let's get into the guys.
All right. So I'm almost positive I know them both. Evan Landry, I've known most of my life. Jonathan Kelly, if it's the right Jonathan Kelly that I'm thinking of, known him most of my life. Both tough guys. Both guys that played some hockey locally, and definitely 2 guys that can drop the gloves. So last weekend in Miramichi, you weren't there. You were in Bucktouche covering that game for us.
Yeah.
So I can distinctly remember a handful of plays where, and we've been seeing it a lot this year, where refs are just letting slashing go. They're letting a lot of those things go. And one play, Robbie Graham was skating in on net. He kind of had like a defenseman to his right, almost parallel to him, but slightly in front of him. And then he had a forward behind him chasing him down. And he was like, just hash marks-ish, maybe a little outside of hash marks. So about a quarter of the way into the zone. And the forward that was behind him just started slashing him on the leg. And I would say he got in 4 or 5 good hacks. And Robbie got a good shot off. And I think they scored on the rebound. But like that kind of thing isn't being called.
No. I don't get the officiating this year. And I'm not saying that towards any specific team. We saw it in Miramichi. We see it all the time in Rishabuktu. We've seen it in Bucktouche. We've seen it in Spring Hill. The referees just don't give an F right now, I think.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they start calling everything, and then they don't call anything. Or they'll be calling penalties on the Hawks and not calling them on River Valley, and then 10 minutes later they're calling everything on the Hawks. It just doesn't make sense. It's very back and forth, and some really like annoying slashes that have to, start to build up. And I think about Danik Crate a couple of games ago in Rishabukto, where he was skating along the far boards from where we were sitting, and he had the puck. He skated in over the blue line, got slashed 2 or 3 times on the arm, no call. He lost the puck, and I remember he like turned and looked at the ref, like, what the heck is this? Why aren't you, like, what's going on here? And it's not just the Hawks. I've seen the same thing from Miramichi, where they're getting slashed around a lot. I remember one time seeing Chris Keating skating in with a puck, getting slashed a few times and kind of looking at the ref like, how's that not a penalty? But that stuff's just not getting called. So
yeah.
In regards to that, the Hawks signed 2 guys that can, drop the gloves. After last weekend, we saw multiple people want to fight Trey Lewis.
Yeah.
And Trey Lewis is a valuable player. Trey Lewis is one of the best players, one of the best defensemen in the league, one of the best players on the Hawks. And the Hawks can't afford to lose him early in the game for fighting.
Not only a good defenseman, but the leader of the team.
Yeah.
Like that's a big leader right there.
Yeah, especially right now where really the Hawks don't have a captain per se. I know last year it started out, it was Tyrone Sock. It ended up being Lucky Millier. Right now, they don't have a captain. And in my opinion, the captain of the Hawks is Trey Lewis.
He is. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's Trey's team. Trey's the leader. Everybody's following Trey's orders. As it should be. He's the heart and soul of the Hawks. The first player I knew in the Hawks was Trey Lewis. With his experience in the Q, Memorial Cup champion, playing everywhere. He played in England. That's a great leader to have on the ice. If he doesn't want to fight, he shouldn't be forced to fight.
Yeah.
Signing these guys, I don't see any problems with it. I actually saw some people saying, "Oh, Trey's chicken. He doesn't want to fight, so he's bringing in these guys." Trey's not there to fight. Trey's a great defenseman. He's there to play the game. The game against River Valley, what was it? 5 minutes in and he was done? Don't forget, you fight once, you're done for the game. This isn't the NHL.
Was that in the first period or second period when he fought against Benji? That was a great fight.
I'm almost certain it was in the first period.
Yeah.
Almost certain.
Then suddenly you're down a really good defenseman. But not only Trey. I mean, I only want to say Trey. It's also, I've seen some guys in Spring Hill fight, and then they're gone. You think about a guy like Parker Dagan, if he was forced to fight, or some guys in Miramichi. The Hawks didn't really have anybody that was there just to fight. So now they have that. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully the officiating gets a little bit different here. Start to call some of those slashes. We heard Nick Foran mention it last week, but the last 10 minutes of the game, not being able to fight or you're suspended, the game gets chippier, it gets slashier. It's really annoying because these teams have skill. The Hawks are a super skilled team. So if they're getting slashed everywhere and they can't skate, they can't possess the puck, they can't make passes, everybody loses, the fans lose out. It's just makes for some weird, not very offensive minded hockey. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens with these two guys in there. I want to see some fights. Like everybody, I want to see some fights. But if you can only have 3 fights before you're suspended, I don't want to see Trey Lewis get suspended. I don't want to see Nick Foran get suspended. I don't want to see these guys that I really love to watch on the ice start getting suspended for 1 game, 3 games, 5 games. It's a big loss for the fans, big loss for the teams. So that's my take on that. I do think that, and I said this earlier on in the year, with the fighting rule, it makes sense to sign a couple goons early on. Bring them in, let them fight, get their 3 fights, get suspended, maybe get 5 fights and get suspended. Whatever the case may be. But save your core guys fights for once the roster lock comes in January. So the second thing that we have here is the Paisanos Pizza Contest is ending tonight.
All right.
Thank you to Paisanos. I'm actually going to be doing a drawing for that here in a few moments. So
Corey, did I win?
You win because you get to talk to me twice a week on the podcast.
That's a win? Jeez. What's second place? What's second prize? Can I have that?
The second prize is that I get to spend 2 nights a week with you.
Jeez, that's a good prize.
It's a good prize. I'm not complaining. So thank you to Paisanos. We'll be announcing the winner of that. Well, you'll know it by now when you hear this podcast, but we don't know it yet.
We don't?
Week 7. Got some really good games. Corey,
we
take
do.
it away.
On Friday night, 2 games on November 24th. Tracadie will be in Miramichi.
Yeah, man, I love the Civic, so I might be at this game. We'll see what happens. I really want to see River Valley again because they really impressed me in Rishabakto this past week against LC.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Tracadie Miramichi, that's always a really rough game, so I'm sure that's going to be a good one.
The second game on Friday, River Valley will be in Bucktouche. I will be there for that one for sure. Quicker drive for me, so that should be a really good one. Those are the only 2 games on Friday. On Saturday, November 25th, Bucktouche will be in Dalhousie.
Dalhousie really ran over the JCs their first home game. I think it was 10-0 or something, 9-0.
Was it a shutout?
Yeah, I think they got shut out. It's been a while. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Miramichi is where they scored a few goals. But second game that I believe we will be at, Tracadie will be in Spring Hill.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to Spring Hill again, have some Paisanos.
What are you looking forward to most? The game or the pizza? Because right now I'm kind of hungry.
I just ate, so I'm not hungry. I always look forward to the pizza, but Spring Hill's been really impressive this year. I haven't personally seen Tracadie yet. You saw them last week.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the game, but the pizza's the cherry on top. So
exactly. Sole game on Sunday, November 26th. Dalhousie will be in LC Puck to face the Hawks.
So last year, this game, Dalhousie and Elspuktuk, was the game that there was like the near riot, and
Yeah. That was the most exciting atmosphere I'd been into. Like, if a riot happens, I'm curling up in a ball and trying to save my life. But this one was the Sawyer Hannah fight in the tunnel.
yeah,
I'm actually in that video. You look for the red hat. I'm there screaming. Won't happen this year though. But this game, such an intriguing game because Dalhousie is a powerhouse right now, and Elsie isn't that far off.
yeah. LC's lost a couple here, but they're a phenomenal team. So, and Dalhousie's had their struggles lately, but I think these are two of the best teams in the league. So,
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing them face off for the first time on
they're 1-2.
It leads into next Saturday when LC is in Dalhousie. So it's like an extended break in the middle, but it is a home and home. So it
Yeah,
should be a hell of a good home and home.
it should be. So Corey, what is next? Those are the
Uh,
5 games.
well, I mean, we got to get into our predictions, don't we?
Predictions. So Miramichi and Tracadie. Who do you have?
I think Miramichi is going to bounce back this weekend and have a big weekend. So I think Miramichi takes it.
I also have Miramichi. So Bucktouche and River Valley.
River Valley really impressed me against the Hawks. Bucktouche is bouncing back. They're coming and they're starting to play really well. I think I'm going to be out to this game because I haven't seen Bucktouche in a few weeks, and I want to see the improvements that they've made. I think Josh Simpson is going to be playing in net for River Valley, I assume. I haven't heard otherwise. So if Josh Simpson's in net for River Valley, I think River Valley takes it. But as we heard Tyson Donovan mention, Colette. If Colette's on his game, that could be a Bucktouche win. It's going to be a really close one. I'm taking River Valley.
River Valley. I got Bucktouche in this one.
All
I
right.
think they're on the cusp. I think they're really on their way. So Dalhousie and Bucktouche.
I think that's Bucktouche is going to be tired from the night before, so I think Dalhousie takes this one.
I also have Dalhousie. Next up, Tracadie in Spring Hill.
Spring Hill has 2 weeks off, and Tracadie played the night before, so I think Spring Hill's going to take it.
I have Tracadie taking this one.
All right.
So the final game, Dalhousie in Elsie.
I think the Hawks, this is their only game this weekend. They lost to River Valley. I think the Hawks are going to bounce back, and they're going to get a win here. So I think
also
Elsie.
have the Hawks. You have Elsie.
Elsie over Dalhousie.
I have the same.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. It wouldn't surprise me if that goes to overtime and it's high scoring and it's going to be just a fun atmosphere. But I'll be updating videos and I'll be posting a ton of clips. So anybody from Dalhousie is listening to this, be sure to check the podcast Facebook, the podcast YouTube on Sunday afternoon. We'll be sure to keep you guys well updated as well as we can. And it's going to be a great game. I can't wait. I think the following Saturday, I'm personally going to be making the trip to Dalhousie to see LC in Dalhousie. So, Corey, we'll see what your schedule looks like if you're going to make it with me. But, yeah, looking forward to my first trip to Dalhousie for hockey ever. Actually, I've never been to a game in Dalhousie, so.
I might have to bite the bullet on that one and go.
Yeah. Too hard to resist a nice, and you get to have a couple hour drive with me.
What's the second option?
You get to have a 2-hour drive with Cheryl.
Third option.
Oh, poor Cheryl.
No. Cheryl's great. You're great. Everybody's great.
Joke's on you. We're both going to be in the same car, so you're going to get to go for a 2-hour drive with both of us. But, yeah, we're really looking forward to getting to Dalhousie and getting in a game. So, at that point, we'll only have 2 more venues that we got to try to get to this year, Shippigan and Tracadie. So,
Yep.
Corey, what is the thing you're looking most forward to this weekend?
Spending time with you guys, having 3 games to go to, Paisano's Pizza.
Paisano's Pizza. I think I'm just looking forward to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tracadie for the first time. That's what I'm really excited about.
When you asked me last week, can you go cover the Bucktouche game? I was in Bucktouche already to visit my mom, and I was going to grab a coffee for my stepfather.
Yep.
And I was like thinking as I was driving to Tim Hortons, I was like, all right, Bucktouche, who are they playing? And then it hit me, Trackety. I'm like, oh, I didn't see them yet. That's great. I'll get to see them for Corey.
Yep, absolutely. You did indeed. Yeah. So they have an intriguing team, having won the North Division last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. I think that's going to be the highlight of the weekend for me. Yeah, that's about all that we've got, Corey. It might be a short episode tonight. Do you have anything else you want to throw in?
What's your prediction for game of the week?
Oh yeah, we got to do game of the week here. I think game of the week is going to be Dalhousie and Elspethduck.
I agree. LC and Dalhousie. I think two powerhouse teams, number 1 and number 2 in the league. Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
I will say honorable mention. I think Trackety and Spring Hill is going to be phenomenal. I think those are two evenly matched teams based on what I've seen this year and what I've heard this year. But and honestly, Spring Hill just feels like a team that has meshed really well, and they're gelling, they're clicking, and I think they're just a much improved team this year.
And I know why.
But why?
Because they have a slice of pizza before every game.
You think that's what it is?
How can you not get encouraged when you have a slice of Paisano's pizza, the best pizza in the world?
Man, you're like, what did you eat before we got on here? You are way too like hype.
I have not eaten. I am saving all the room for Paisano's pizza on Saturday.
Guys, they paid you to do this, or you're just...
They have not. It's just that good.
Man, Corey's on one. Corey, I think that's going to be it for this episode.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for all your support, and we'll see you next time.
I'm starving.
See you soon.
Take care.